Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us today. Carasoft Technology would like to welcome you to our ServiceNow Federal Tech Talk, Optimize and Maintain Government Fleets. Before we get started, I would like to quickly go over a few housekeeping items. Please note that all lines have been muted to reduce any kind of background noise during the presentation. If you have any questions throughout the webinar, please use the Q&A feature on the bottom of your screen, and we will do our best to answer by the end of the presentation or follow up with you offline. This webinar is being recorded and a copy will be emailed to you. Just to tell you a little bit about Carasoft, we are a trusted government IT solutions provider supporting public sector organizations across federal, state, and local government agencies, including education and healthcare market. At this time, I'd like to hand the floor over to our speakers. Sade, the floor is all yours.
Awesome. Can you hear me okay?
Sounds good.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody. Thank you so much, Sarah, and thank you to the Carasoft team for your collaboration and, of course, making today happen. We appreciate your sponsorship. As Sarah might have mentioned, we definitely want everybody's engagement today, so please go ahead and ask any questions or provide any comments through the question part of your webinar. My name is Sade Ardani. I'm going to be one of your hosts today. I'm joined by my technical counterpart, Matt Barrett, and a few other of our solution specialists, Kim Bean and Lynette. Today we want to discuss how ServiceNow is facilitating workflows and maintenance activities in the federal arena for our customers in regards to fleet optimization. How can we move our customers to more proactive models? How can we incorporate some of the more planned and preventative maintenance activities on a variety of different assets in the federal government? So let's get into it. Can you guys see the transition? Here we go. It's moving a little slowly. So what is fleet readiness? Across the federal space, we see our customers have many moving pieces all across the world. So that consists of assets like trucks or trains and Humvees. Like in this example today that we're going to use, we're going to talk about aircrafts, drones, and of course, boats. So it's important to not only have visibility and maintain these assets, but also as a government customer, how can we enable the coordination of all the field service operations around these vehicles? So let's dive into the ServiceNow solution. I want to kind of start off with some of the out-of-the-box types of activities that we support for this kind of service delivery. So first is your traditional break fix. There is a demand for something to be done, so we need to go out and do it. We've got proactive monitoring out of the box. So using our platform machine learning to look at trends of past service records to help drive more proactive service delivery. So our federal customers don't have to be so reactive. Looking at trends like, hey, based on the information that we're gathering, instead of waiting another month to do this maintenance, we should probably send somebody out sooner. And then that leads me to scheduled work. So that's your typical ongoing service and maintenance activities, routine maintenance like filters, making sure that the right people with the right skills are sent to the right place. And then lastly, we've got some strategic planning and long-term projects. So allowing decision-making through prioritized investments that our customers might have. Maybe they have long-term business goals that we need to meet more efficiently. And of course, projects, tracking all the activities for more longer-term efforts so that tasks are being done in sequential and parallel order. They're facilitated through maybe multiple contractors and different teams and third-party stakeholders. And so all of what we've discussed is brought to you, of course, through the ServiceNow platform. This is an intelligent platform. It enables the technology that we're going to be talking about, managing skills, managing inventory, managing these assets and the locations, and of course, driving efficiency in this arena. And so how can we take these out-of-the-box activities and put a system of action to them? So first, let's look at the dashboards and reporting. Looking for continual improvement, having visibility and transparency into the areas that could use improvement. We have out-of-the-box KPIs that can contribute to future trending and planning. Uh, we've got assets and parts inventory. So, making sure that your field technicians and workers and folks that are being dispatched have the right parts and inventory. And of course, scheduling and tasks. So getting the right person with the right geography. And lastly, work orders. So making sure that it is very clear what the tasks that need to be done in the field are and how they're going to report back on the work done in the field. So all of this is going to be brought to you again by the platform and some of our more recent enhancements. I'm going to hand it over to Matt Barrett, and then we'll get started in the demo.
Thank you, Sade. Excited to jump into that demo, but I did just want to take a minute, folks, to talk real quick about our emerging capabilities in the platform as of last year around generative artificial intelligence, Gen AI, as well as some other classical AI machine learning capabilities that the platform has had for well over a decade. And these really kind of fall into three areas of benefit to government agencies. The first is increasing employee productivity. So giving employees the tools they need to address customer issues, whether that's break fix going out into the field or middle back office working on customer cases, so that those issues get resolved the first time. And providing a 360-degree view so that you have complete access to customer history and asset history across all their devices, whether that's a laptop or in the office or a desktop or a mobile device in the case of your field service technician. And we're also providing step-by-step guidance on how to resolve these problems through guided workflow playbooks. In the case that we're going to see for field service, our Now Assist capability gives technicians a huge productivity boost with summarizing work order tasks. We can also work on knowledge generation articles and sidebar chat summarization. And the second piece, the second big lift here, is around optimizing scheduling and resource allocation. So your field service managers and dispatchers can proactively get access to information they need from any source at their fingertips, and tailored AI-driven insights are infused across our workforce management solution, including schedule optimization or dispatching, which really help improve the service speed, delivery, quality, and efficiency. And then lastly, automating and reimagining processes, right? So automating repetitive automation tasks, such as drafting work orders, generating resolution notes for work or tasks that are being completed, as well as automating complex processes to accelerate job completion and just deliver greater consistency across your service delivery chain. So with that, I'd like to pop into the first of two things we're going to be looking at today, which is our field service management solution. And we're going to take this into the context of a break fix scenario that Sade had mentioned. And so we're going to be using the vehicle type of an aircraft in this example. But as Sade mentioned, this extrapolates to all types of fleets across our government customer base. So in this example, there's a problem with an aircraft that needs to be addressed. And so a pilot or a crew chief can access the customer portal here on their mobile device and come in and say that they need to request some technician support. And in this case, we'll categorize it as not a plumbing or an HVAC issue, but an aircraft issue, or more generally, a vehicle issue. So we can say, what type of asset category do we need to classify and report this to? Is it a ground vehicle or is it an aircraft? If it is an aircraft, what type? So further subcategorize it. And then maybe pick the specific asset in question that we need help servicing here. So this could be an asset tag or an aircraft tail number. Where is the problem? Where do we need to have the technician, that field service expert, go to? So we'll say in this case, again, it's a hangar, but this can pull from any sort of asset location in the platform. And then just to help automate and make sure that this request goes to the right technician with the right skills, we're going to further refine and say, is it a hydraulic issue? Is it avionics? Or is it a problem with the engine? And we'll just say the engine 4 indicator light is on and it needs to be cleared. Now, what'll happen when we go ahead and hit the submit button is a work order is being created here in our queue, and it's being either routed to a dispatcher for them to look at and review, or if you're choosing to use automatic assignment, we'll automatically send this over to the proper technician and get it on their schedule. So the first thing I want to take a look at here is that concept of a centralized dispatcher, somebody that is working across teams of technicians. I'm just going to do a quick refresh here, who's managing a team of individuals who are sent out into the field, in this craft aircraft technicians. And we'll basket them into different categories. In this case, we'll have folks who specialize in engine issues, folks who specialize in avionics issues, potentially folks who specialize in hydraulics issues. But this is really just a way for you to organize how you manage your field teams for scheduling either preventative maintenance or break fix type issues here. So we can come here and actually switch from the schedule view to a hybrid view. And this is going to give me a sense for where my folks are. So my technicians in this case are using a ServiceNow mobile application, so we can see exactly where they're located. And again, as I mentioned, most of these work orders that come in can be automatically assigned to staff, to your technicians. And we do that based on a variety of different factors, including proximity to their location, proximity to the job site, scheduling availability, skills required, parts availability, et cetera. And so sometimes work is just automatically going to appear on people's schedule. But if not, as a dispatcher, or maybe somebody who's just managing exceptions, somebody's out sick, I need to reassign some work, I've got my list of work orders that need to be assigned over here on the left-hand side. And I can pop in here and help drive this to a technician. I can choose to auto assign it, and this is where our auto scheduler is going to come and pick somebody to send it to. I can even drag and drop it and put it onto somebody's schedule so that a technician gets notified and alerted that there's a job out there for them to do. And we also, can do this for crews as well. So if you've got jobs that require maybe more than one person, that can come into play. And if I need to actually drill down and, get more detail, I can see the route that the system wants the technician to take to get from where they are right now to where that job is located. And so this dashboard here is a living, breathing, real-time display of where my technicians are, what the status of these work orders are, how well we're performing in compliance with our service level agreements. But we're also passing this information back to our customer here. So if I can see where my pizza is on its delivery to me, I should be able to see where my technician is who's coming to perform some aircraft repair to get this vehicle mission ready. So I can see that it's actually been assigned. It's been assigned to Teddy Taylor. And now Teddy's our technician. Teddy's going to be the one who's actually going to be dispatched to work on this issue. Teddy has a mobile experience that will help drive him to get to this job site and perform the work efficiently. So Teddy's got a mobile app with all of his tasks that are assigned to him, and he can come into this aircraft maintenance issue that was just logged. And when he pops in here, he can see it's assigned, he can see who to meet, he can see where this is located, what the job is, and he can come in here and accept it. And now when he does it, you'll notice in real time here, that customer is getting that feedback. So kind of that pizza tracker, I can see that my technicians accepted the work, and now they are about to start their travel. So they're going to start making their way out. We can see that technician is on their way. And if we want to, do a little refresh here, we can actually provide integrated mapping to show that route and use real-time traffic analysis to provide this customer visibility to see that their technician is 2 minutes away and they'll be here at 10:18 local time. So really good way to close that gap and provide that consumer grade experience that we're all accustomed to in a mission critical use case here for this fleet asset. Now, when the technician does arrive, they'll be able to say that they're ready to start their work. Again, that's going to come in here and update this. The dispatcher is also going to get this great level of visibility here. And we'll start a time card automatically so we can record how long this technician was driving, how long they're going to be working on this job. And when they do arrive, there's a variety of things we have available to them. So the first might be to do an engine diagnostic here. So first things first, is the APU grounded? Is the aircraft secure? Can we see the asset ID? Do all the wires look in good conditions? Are the engine pin settings optimal? Let's take some readings, check those ranges, overflow trigger, firewall test pass. And if we need to attach any images or attach any other documentation, we can come in and do that as well. And when we're done, we'll submit this. Questionnaire is completed. It's going to persist now as part of the record on this work order. If I have any other information that I need to help me do my job, I've got this article button down here on the bottom, which is going to link me into knowledge management. So I've got an engine maintenance manual that's contextually relevant to the job I'm doing. So I can come down here, pop the knowledge article open, get the manual, and skip exactly to the page that's going to help me perform whatever diagnostic or repair step that it is I need. So some other things we can do here, if I actually need to replace a part as part of this job, I can come here and click the parts list. This is going to pull open my inventory. I've got some inventory on me in my truck that I can use. I may want to request some parts though from the depot or from another technician nearby. I can go ahead and do that. But if I want to just use a part here that I've got on me, I can say we're going to use a 25 volt sensor. That's going to be decremented from my local inventory. It's going to be added as a history to this work order so that we'll be able to come back in the future and know that this particular part was changed out by me on this particular day as part of this repair. So really great to just kind of pull this all together. And when I'm done, when I've fixed the issue, I can come down to the close complete step here. If I noticed some other issue with this aircraft, maybe not something that's super serious, but something that we want to address, I can create a follow-up task here automatically. So that'll create a new work order that needs to get dispatched at the appropriate time to the appropriate resource to come back and do something in the future. I can also come here and type in my closure notes. Now, because we've tracked everything that I've done as part of this job, including when I left, when I got there, the results from that checklist that I had done, we're able to leverage generative AI to pull all that information in and help draft out my resolution notes here to help reduce the amount of time I need to spend documenting. And of course, I can come in and edit this as well. But we see ultimately that the indicator light's no longer illuminated. This aircraft is ready to go. We can go ahead and close that task. The customer sees that over here. Our dispatcher, they'll see that Teddy finished this task as well. Now, in this example, right, this was kind of a happy path. We sent our technician out. They were able to resolve the issue on their first visit. But you can imagine other scenarios where maybe the problem's bigger than we thought. Maybe the entire engine needs to be replaced. Or maybe this particular aircraft has aged equipment in there, and we need to put it into the modernization pipeline to help update various components of it as part of a broader strategic initiative. So in order to help kind of manage those broader projects that are maybe more long running, that require a bit more planning, a bit more funding and project management, we've got the ability here to create a demand, which when I do this, will trigger an activity in our strategic portfolio management solution here, which is going to be integrated and fused here with field service management so that we have the ability to now put this aircraft into a strategic pipeline for more complex, long-running, broader optimization activities, which my friend and colleague Lynette is eager to talk to you about as part of our next segment. But before we segue over to there, maybe I'll just take a beat and see if any questions have come in, should I?
Yeah. Hey, Matt, one of the questions we have is, can generative AI recap plan maintenance activities as well?
Yeah. Okay. Great question. Yes. So in this example here, this was a break fix. You saw the technician use the generative AI capability in their mobile application to summarize everything that they had done, taking into account all the parts that they had used in the knowledge articles and things like that. But we can absolutely do the same thing for planned maintenance. So rather than that ad hoc break fix, every 6 months or every 12 months, we want to send a tech to do some preventative maintenance. That same generative AI capability can be applied to that use case as well.
Okay, awesome. And then one more question. Can we use FSM for large projects that involve many technicians? Can it be used by contractors that we have a maintenance agreement with?
Yeah, absolutely. So in this example, we saw that I was assigning that particular break fix repair to an individual. We can also bundle people together in crews and then know that certain types of jobs are too big for a single individual and require a crew of technicians. So we can bundle that together for work assignment that way. We do also support external contractors. So we have a contractor portal where they can log in and see work that we've assigned over to them. And you can define what your constraints and criteria are, whether it's a contractor can work only on certain types of problems or only so many days a week or only so many hours a week. So we can use that criteria to help inform the scheduler of what we should send to them. And then, of course, for the really big projects like modernizing a fleet, we can absolutely do that as well. And I think Lynette's going to touch upon that. But for whoever asked that, I'll put some links in the chat around crew operations and contractor management.
Excellent. Over to you, Lynette.
Thanks, Sade. Thank you, Matt. Great job going over the field services. I love this use case. I love how everything works together here. So I'm going to share with you the strategic planning portion of this and how we connect directly to what Matt has just shared with you. So let me share my screen here. I'm going to start with strategic planning and looking across different types of roadmap strategies and goals related to those roadmaps, and then the investments that we're making based on those strategies and goals. So I'm going to jump into our fleet optimization roadmap. And the first thing I want to share with you here as we get into the prioritization and planning view is that demand that has come over from field services. So when it comes over that work order as a demand to be prioritized and vetted so that we can add it to the activities we're doing from the roadmap perspective, again, on a larger project base. So that work order information that comes in as the technician is fixing something and it's discovered that, we need something bigger here, we need a bigger fix. All of that information will come over as well. So you get that audit trail of all the things that are being managed as far as the asset goes, and then the work that's being done to mitigate whatever issue has come out of that work order. So just to level set from a prioritization perspective, we have a lot of different activities that go on when we talk about fleet optimization or even a fleet lifecycle management. So when we think about that lifecycle management, we're looking at acquisitions, replacements, monitoring capabilities, and decommissioning, right? So there's a lot of different activities that go across these different strategic programs with the goals of, some cost optimization, maybe some environmental sustainability that we're looking at when we talk about fuel management or even decommissioning some of disposing of different aircraft parts as we decommission, right? So having this information at your fingertips to really identify the different types of attributes or criteria you need to understand about your investments here so that you can make decisions based on the data and also manage reporting and roadmaps as well. One thing to note here from that prioritization perspective, scoring capabilities. So we allow you to score in different ways. We have a couple different methodologies. but you can also create your own, right? So as you're using your prioritization criteria, you can configure that here. So we're not placing you in a box and telling you how to prioritize the work that you're working on. And then once you prioritize it, you're able to rank those items based on those scores, if need be, or based on other criteria. Just to share real quick from a goals perspective, so you can see the strategic programs here and the primary goals, but this allows you to attach the goals directly to the roadmap as well. So giving you dashboards, of course, that's standard across ServiceNow, but also being able to manage progress of goals, understand, how we're managing, where we are from a status perspective, and making sure that the goals that we set forth, we're actually investing in those. As a Gen AI, just a mention here, in the future, from a goals perspective, we'll be giving back feedback and options for improving the progress of goals. So letting those goals owners know what the issues are and where they could invest instead in order to progress the health of the goals. So a lot of different Gen AI capabilities around SPM as well. So I'm going to jump back to this planning piece, and we're going to jump over to that roadmap view, right? So all of this data is the same, right? It's all coming from the same place, from those investment records, and we're just providing you with different visualizations and different visualizations based on your roles and responsibilities, right? So what we're looking at here, strategic programs versus primary goals. So something maybe at the leadership that they want to view the roadmap in this way. But you can also switch it based on your responsibilities to the information that you care about. So there are things that you can assign, such as state or status. What state are we in? Are we work in progress? Are we pending? What does it look like from a status perspective? Red, yellow, green, typical project management. So just the capabilities to switch attributes, again, based on that information that you care about to make your decisions and seeing the information that is most relevant to you. From here, we're also tracking the investments from a health and progress perspective, right? So we're looking at different types of investments here. These with the milestones diamonds are coming directly from the project workspace and the work breakdown structure, which I will show you in just a minute. But it's rolling up all that work being done at the project level to give full visibility into what's happening here. So we also are looking at the tracking mode, that percent complete, also dependencies. So you can define dependencies between items as necessary and move things around and kind of plan your roadmap to make sure those dependencies are not impacting each other. So then also sharing capabilities, being able to share and comment. In the future, in February of next year, we'll be able to export this view to PowerPoint. It will take out some quad charts and a couple of visualizations based on the roadmap that you're seeing here. So some exciting things to come in that space. Okay, so back to the use case at hand. So looking at one of these projects and jumping over to the project view, I'm going to share with you the capabilities that exist there. Okay, so we have our project workspace here. Those project managers can see everything that they're responsible for and start to do their work as necessary. So if I open up one of these projects, this B52 upgrade, we are able to see a traditional work breakdown structure that you would expect to be able to see here. Very similar to Microsoft Project, that's by design, because we can import to Microsoft project files, and we can also export to Microsoft project files. You're also able to apply templates in this situation. So a lot of times there are repeatable projects or projects that need governance. So you can create these templates, and when the project manager receives the project, they just select a template, and this work breakdown structure is already filled out for them. So really helping with time and efficiency, and freeing up their time to do some more important work. Within the schedule, you can create different baselines, which are the 2 lines that you see down here. This is identifying changes in schedules and any variances that result from those changes. So being able to track those baselines from a schedule perspective, also from a financial perspective, as I will show you in a second. The other thing, full-on resource management, right? So when we talk about resource management, we want to understand the people that we need to have on the project, to work on the project, but we also want to understand their capacity and availability. So we can see from this heat map where these resources are over allocated, what other types of work they might be working on. So robust resource management to allow you to capture that capacity and availability, as well as rates as it relates to different types of skill sets or roles or groups of teams working through this. Okay, so from here, I'm going to jump over to the details. So similar to what Matt shared with you. So everything is, when we're looking at details, we're looking at all of the data that we're collecting, again, for decision making and reporting. So project information, things like dates, different details as it relates to portfolios or programs, being able to view project tasks from here as well. So they're the exact same tasks that were in the planning view. It's just a different view and a different way for project managers to see the information. Work orders. So when we talk about the schedule, and there's a element of execution on the actual upgrade of the engine. So we're able to create work orders from this space as well to send down to field services to those technicians so they can actually start the physical work on their side. So that's another connection between what Matt shared with you and what I'm sharing with you to keep all of that work together, have that audit trail, and everyone is then working from the same page, right? So everyone's seeing the same information. They know the status based on all the data that's available here. Work orders also, I can pull in those affected assets the same way we can, from the field services side as well. We'll get into cost plans in just a minute, but those resource assignments and other types of, multiple types of relationships you can have to data across the board within the project. So from a financial perspective, again, tracking budgets, budgets planned and actual cost as needed, as it relates to both labor and non-labor costs. So you can generate labor cost here just on those assignments from the planning console. And you can create different new cost plans outside of labor cost as well as needed. I mentioned baselines at the schedule level, also baselines at the financial level. So as you are executing on the project and financials are changing over time, maybe it's actuals, but being able to capture that information as well, and understand variances and changes over time from a financial perspective. Also traditional RIDAC capabilities, risk issue action, etc. Also change management. So any change management that is needed on the project can be captured here and reported on as well. The analytics page is a dashboard of all of the information that I've been sharing with you here. So with any ServiceNow dashboard, configuring that to have the information that you care about as a project manager. We have collaborative documentation, different templates that you can create yourself or use some out of the box to collect different documents related specifically to the project. That includes attachments or any documents you want to capture here. And similar to what Matt said from the GenAI perspective, as far as summarizing different documents and work order notes on his side, we can do that as well on the on the SPM side as well. So anytime we're looking at documentation, being able to capture and summarize, capture and expand from a Gen AI capability. And then finally, status reports. So being able to create multiple status reports and capture that information related to the project. So we're not going out and, going to different spreadsheets and different individuals to capture all of this information. We are already capturing it here on the project itself. And then we're just adding, comments or updates, executive summaries, achievements, etc. So really reducing time from the project manager's perspective as well. I am going to pause there for a second. Kim, do we have any questions from
We do, Lynette. Yeah, we do, Lynette. We have one, we actually have two. So first one is, does this align with the government fiscal calendar?
It does. As we were looking at the project workspace from a financial perspective, and from the roadmap as well, as you can see the different quarters. On the ServiceNow platform itself, you can define your calendar, your fiscal calendar. So we know that the government fiscal calendar starts in October. So you're able to define that so it aligns to the quarters and the information you see within here.
Wonderful. And then the second is, location is very important as well for fleet management. Can you also manage location within the project?
Absolutely. And that's something that I wanted to share with you here. And it would just be an attribute that we would group by as well. So capturing location on each of our investments will allow us to choose that as a group by, and then the investments will show up by location. Unfortunately, it's not in my demo environment here, but this is where you can really add any criteria you need to as you want to slice and dice the information here.
Wonderful. Thank you, Lynette.
Thanks, Kim.
I think that that's all we have. So
Oh,
I'm going to go ahead and, oh,
no, one more.
one more. Okay.
Yeah, sorry. So a couple of things here. The first thing that I want to mention as we have gone through this project workspace and this traditional waterfall type project, SPM also has other methodologies that you can use interchangeably as you're doing your work. So we have agile and safe capabilities, enterprise agile planning. We also have something called collaborative work management, which is really a lighter tasking tool, if you will, if you're familiar with Microsoft Planner. So just allowing smaller teams to work together to manage their task across the teams, manage documentation, etc. So a couple of other methodologies, you're not pigeonholed into just doing waterfall that I shared with you here today. And then finally, from a portfolio or program perspective, being able to see across the board, across all portfolios, or select different portfolios, but that what reports am I responsible for? What information do I need to make my decisions? So an example out of the box, looking at cost and financials. So what are my planned costs versus my actual costs? And looking at them based on performance analytics. So performance analytics capabilities allowing you to see that trending information over time and then make decisions on that information as necessary. So just some examples of performance analytics, some snapshots on some more traditional reporting capabilities. And then from a project health perspective, the things that you would expect to see from a KPI, right? So projects with missed milestones, they're overdue, they have critical issues that are out there. We want to make sure that we can get to this information quickly and understand the health of everything and making sure that it's moving forward and we're removing any blockers as necessary. And then finally, I'll end on the risk heat maps, right? So important to understand risk not only at the project level, but at the portfolio level as well, we may have competing risk or multiple risks that can be managed for multiple projects all at once, right? So having that visibility into that RIDAC from a heat map perspective is also available and something that you can do from a portfolio level view. So with that, I will hand it back to Kim, and thank you, everyone.
Thank you. That was wonderful. Thank you so much, Sade, Matt, and Lynette. I am going to go ahead and share real quick just our final statements. And if anyone does have questions, please, again, use the chat feature to go ahead and put them in there. All right, so thank you for joining us today. We really hope that our presentation resonated with you and you can see the efficiencies that are within the tool. We're committed to breaking down the silos and automating all of your manual processes within your organization. It really is our mission to help you streamline your workflows, enable you to visualize and track assets in the entire life cycle, leverage a unified platform, and really proactively manage maintenance, service delivery, and finally manage from a project perspective all the activities, tasks, risks that are needed to happen within your agency. And in my mind, just imagine expanding all of these capabilities to the other critical mission areas, such as logistics, emergency preparedness, medical devices, medical device management. I feel that our tools are designed to support all aspects of your essential operations, saving time for your technicians, engineer, and flight crews. So my favorite part is the events. So this is one of my favorites of the year. This is where all of your friends in the public and private sector come together for our federal forum, and this is really coming up quick. It's going to be February 12th, just in time for you to gather conversation for your Valentine's Day dinner. I know my husband will absolutely love that for me. But you'll give them a wealth of information and use cases directly from your peers, as well as all the topics that I've listed up here today. We're going to continue to add to our website, thenowfedforum.com. We're going to add a lot more content. We're also going to add a sign-up sheet or a sign-up page for hands-on learning labs the day before. And it's really great for you to come and learn hands-on from the wonderful wealth of knowledge and technical folks that we have here at ServiceNow. Also, we're going to be there. So if you would like to schedule any demos with us or any time, please reach out to us. We would love to meet you in person. So that is the end. That is the last Fed Tech Talk. It's kind of a tongue twister of 2024. Again, we appreciate your time and we hope today's discussion inspires new possibilities for your agency. So Happy New Year too. Let's see, do we have any questions? Let me stop the share. Nothing in the chat.
I'm
Okay,
not seeing anything on my end.
wonderful. Thanks, Sarah. And again, thanks to all our amazing speakers and presenters today.
Yep, thank you, Kim. I'd like to thank all of our participants as well as our speakers for being with us today. We hope the information you received during this webinar has been helpful. If you have any further questions or would like to request more information, please feel free to reach out. Thank you again and have a great day.
Thanks, everyone.